in a series of Circular Voices. I'm very happy to be joined by Tom Meades this morning. Tom is the co-founder and designer at Gomi. Good morning, Tom. Nice to chat to you.
Morning, Ashleigh. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So we've already touched on circular fashion and circular farming and resource and recovery management. So a couple of different angles on circularity and circular design and the circular economy. So it's really interesting to now be speaking with product design, because obviously that's a hugely important part of the process, and designing with circularity in mind from the beginning is obviously really key. So Tom, as an expert in such things, it would be awesome if you could maybe, just to start with, maybe talk us through a bit of the story or the journey of Gomi and where you've come from and kind of your motivations and inspiration to start the business.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, thanks for having me again. It's great to be talking on Circular Design Week. So yeah, I guess the main inspiration from Gomi kind of started at the University of Brighton, where I did my BA. So I was kind of obsessed with materials and studying waste materials in particular. So there's loads of waste around Brighton, and I guess like in our course we were pushed to work with different materials like ceramics or wood or plastics, but particularly I found that there was a lot of plastic around the city that just couldn't be recycled. So the bins would have signs in them saying this can't be recycled by councils, and that would normally be plastic, like plastic bags. And yeah, I just kind of became interested in the idea of, is it possible to actually use that material but in high-end design, and is there kind of like a weird contrast between the two? So yeah, started researching. I got super inspired by the book Cradle to Cradle. So yeah, I'm not sure if you've read it, but it's amazing. Anyone should read that book. And yeah, as I began working with material and kind of layering the different colors of the plastic, I just found that it kind of created this beautiful marble. And you could like hand work it like it was a ceramic, but you could also press it and form it. So yeah, it was super interesting material. Started milling into it with CNC machines, and yeah, from there it kind of developed into, okay, I've got this great material made from waste. How can we actually make this material into a product that's going to last, and people are going to want to keep but actually use as well? So I started looking into products such as speakers, and other tech products like chargers that are notoriously bad for ending up in landfills after just a couple of years of use. So I wanted to combine the two basically, and that's kind of where the Gomi vision started.
Mega. Wow, cool. Super. Yeah, it's super interesting to understand the route to product development. And that's actually one of the follow-up questions I have was what is the starting point for your design process? So there's a really important need to make products that are, as you've mentioned, used, and rather than sit on the shelf in a shop or in a home. So where do you start with that process when you're developing a new product? Are you still working with that same material? Is that always the starting point, or are you looking at user research and sort of customer needs as well?
I think so. There's still a huge issue with plastic bags and LDP in general. So the main focus of Gomi is to work with that material as kind of our core material. Right. We've kind of developed machines and processes all around this material now. So we're really fortunate that like our press is kind of unique to us. So because we manufacture everything in-house, and the way we make our molds, it means we can innovate really fast. So if we speak to customers and we find out that there's like a tweak required to a product, or we've got an idea for a collaboration with a new brand, we can make all our molds in the house, which is super unique compared to like injection molding, which you'd need like 3 months to wait for your product to be made. Whereas we can make it in a couple of days and test it and improve it. And because the nature of working with waste is that the different waste streams shrink in different ways. So it's super hard to make products that fit together because the plastic's always changing. It's never the same. So yeah, we're super fortunate that we've kind of like spent time, years really developing these machines and these molds that we can actually test things quickly and change things quickly. Yeah, I mean, in the past, we've really pushed the collaboration. So we've worked with people like Paul Smith and the British Independent Film Awards on a request came in to make a custom product, and we can kind of do it because we can create these molds and we can test their waste streams and make things quickly. But yeah, I guess like we do always start with LDPE as our kind of main waste stream, and I think the main reason for that is still that it's not recycled by councils around the UK, so it's still a problem. Like a few supermarkets take it in small quantities, but in general, it's still not really recycled very much.
Sure. Yeah. Wow. Cool. Very, very cool. And that sort of rapid prototyping method is kind of unusual, isn't it? In the UK, it's hard to find someone that can do it in a cost-effective way as well, I would imagine. Very
yeah,
cool.
Definitely. I mean, a lot of people 3D print to kind of do their testing, which we do as well. But it's so different when you actually tested the material that you're going to be using for batch production. It changes so much. So
yeah. Cool. So what could you maybe give us a bit of a picture of the workshop? How many people are there and what kind of capabilities you have? And it sounds like a really interesting place to be.
Yeah, so actually this week we're in the process of moving to a new workshop. So it's all kind of a bit up in the air at the moment. But yeah, so basically we've got like a pressing booth section. So that's where all of our plastic work is done. We melt the plastic at really low temperatures to kind of avoid as many fumes as we can. And we use extraction that cleans the air, etc. as well. We've also got a big assembly space and just like an office, the kind of desk, the co-working space where we all kind of work as well. But yeah, we're all based in Brighton. So everything we do is manufactured in Brighton and assembled in Brighton.
Nice. So you mentioned a couple of partnerships and collaborations. I'm really curious from my side as kind of the communications and marketing head at Circular&Co, how you're telling that story or how you're attracting partners or going out and finding them. Like, how does that process work? Because it's obviously a very interesting and innovative process and end result. But you've got to tell the world about it, don't you? Yeah,
no, definitely. I think like we were quite fortunate in the first speaker that we made. It did get a lot of PR. So like features in like Forbes and Fast Company and those sorts of places, and businesses saw that and wanted to jump on and kind of work with us. So for a few years, we kind of positioned ourselves as a design studio. So everything that we did was kind of all around how can we help brands use their waste streams to make new products, and in the way kind of inspire more brands to kind of do the same. Since then, we've kind of in the past year or so step back from collaborations a little bit and the kind of design studio positioning and more focusing on like actual products that we make. So in the past few years, we've worked on wireless chargers, portable chargers and speakers as kind of our core products. And now that's what we're really trying to push, because we feel like if we can make a product that gets adopted by the masses, then it will have a much bigger impact on waste than a few collaborations here and there.
Yeah.
So at the moment, the main focus is like is our core product range, really.
Cool. And how central is circularity to the development of that business model? Because obviously, as you're growing and changing, you're learning about your business and the market and the requirements. So where does circularity fit into those decision making process?
Yeah, I mean, we have like a really strict set of principles that we follow. So whenever we start like a new brief on a new product, and we're speaking with customers, alongside having a brief for a product, we'll have a brief or we'll have all of our principles written out. So we're really like, there's kind of no point making a product if you're not putting circularity first, in our opinions. We just feel like even if you cut corners on costs here and there that some companies might do, I feel like in the long run, like customers don't want to buy products anymore that are bad for the planet. So if you can kind of make positive impact as much as you can where you can, then I feel like customers will want to support you as a brand. And I just feel like in our generation, like we shouldn't even really be shouting about sustainability anymore or circularity. It should just be the norm. Like it's just what we do now. So that's kind of how we're thinking about it from our design process. And yeah, I'm not sure we'd really ever be interested in working on a product or a project if it didn't put circularity first.
Amazing. Yeah, it's great to hear. At third level, there isn't actually a distinction now between product design and sustainable product design. They are one and the same, and that's very exciting for the future. I think it's really, we know from experience here at Circular&Co that it's challenging to deliver circularity all the time and to commit to it. And there are difficulties that face all businesses. And I just wonder what kind of challenges you guys have faced in this, the years you've been in business.
Definitely. I mean, in consumer tech, it's kind of, it's very rare to kind of be a circular brand pushing circular product. It's just, so we find it really hard because there's no one to copy really. So we've kind of had to, push the boundaries, I guess, in a few different areas, not just one area like the plastic. We've also tried to work with batteries. So we did a collaboration with Lime, taking their battery packs out of their e-bikes in London.
Oh, wow.
So we turned around like 2,000 bikes that were off the streets into speaker products, which is cool, but it was so challenging. So because no one's really done it before, we obviously have to work with battery experts, build machines to test the batteries, and kind of learn the process and then scale it up for mass production as well, which is super challenging. And there's challenges that we haven't solved yet that we're really keen to work on, like circuit boards at the moment are super hard to find made from a sustainable recycled material. So we can recycle our circuit boards at the end of life, but actually finding circuit boards that are made of recycled material in the first place is super tricky. And things like modular circuit boards, if things break, it's hard. So I think over the next few years, it's something that we're going to be looking at on how we can innovate on. But I think as a startup, it's super hard because you might want to innovate in 10 areas, but obviously you can only really pick a few. Like, you don't have an unlimited budget, and it's not only the development time to actually come up with the innovation, it's then trying to go to mass manufacture and try and scale that up so it's affordable for the customer as well. So it's been a challenge, like picking where we want to innovate on and kind of knowing where we've got to wait and until we scale, then we can work on those areas. Amazing.
It's really cool to hear, and really critical to the wider, bigger industry for you guys to be pushing that, because, you know, if those initial disruptors don't, then obviously the big business has no impetus to change, or no guide. So it's great. What about the future, Tom? What lies in wait for Gomi?
Yeah, I mean, like as mentioned, like we're really keen on focusing on just our core product range at the moment. We've got a new release coming in spring next year of a new speaker. So at the moment we're doing a lot of development work and design work, getting ready for that launch. And yeah, we're super excited about that in spring. So yeah, at the moment it's just a lot of work trying to set that up. We've got a new workshop we're moving into this week in Brighton, so we're just getting set up there. But yeah, we're super excited. So we've got a new speaker launch coming in spring next year. So if anybody is interested, wants to sign up, feel free to go to our website, gomi.design, and leave your email address. We're super excited as well. Great.
Yeah, we'll look forward to that, and we'll certainly be looking out for that launch in the spring. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much again, Tom, for your time. It's been really interesting to talk to you, and I shall let you get on with your workshop move.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Ashleigh. Thanks for having me.